Okay, so we're going to now dive into some specifics, and we're going to touch on Instagram and Facebook. Not that there aren't other platforms that you can be on, like Bonnie, you already mentioned LinkedIn and Pinterest, and there's Twitter. There's plenty more other places that you can be, but
YouTube.
YouTube, yes, yes, YouTube. Instagram and Facebook are definitely two of the bigger ones for sure. And I think for me, I found them really accessible as well and easy to use. So with Instagram, the first thing we're going to talk about with Instagram is the most basic type of post that you can do. And I actually don't know the name of it, but I think it's just called your squares. And it's where you're really just uploading a picture. And sometimes you can upload multiple pictures when you do that. You can upload a video, but it's the thing that stays in your feed under your, in your kind of squares feed. It's usually like the first tab on your Instagram screen. So these are great for different types of things that I think you really want to like pop and stay in your feed for a really long time. So I know for mine, like when I share about a new podcast episode, I do a screen grab, a little audio video thing there and put that in my squares. I also do that with different quotes that come up. You can do that with different like announcements of, the Tech Nook, 2 days left. And, you can put that in your squares. So they're really, really versatile and you can add a lot there and they're going to kind of stay in your feed for a while. And again, like you mentioned, Bonnie, this is the place where you're going to put all of your hashtags. You're going to put a little caption, explain what this picture or these pictures or video is, and then you can put in your different hashtags there as well.
Awesome. So the next kind of post we'll talk about are reels. So reels on Instagram, to post them, you have to go to your story and which we'll talk about in a second. So you go to your story and then you scroll and you click reel. So it's a kind of story that also can be posted in your feed. And the difference of them is reels are really specific in that they're these short little clips where you can add music to them. Can I say it's like TikTok? I'm not sure.
I think so, yeah. It's the TikTok
They're essentially
of Instagram.
TikToks of Instagram, yeah. And so what you can do is you can like film a little stop and do like cut screens. You could change the speed, and then you have this like music element behind it too. So I've found these are great when I have like something short to share. So either like a quick little information or like a feeling of the day or something, and you can like find a song to pair with that. So for example, there was like a songwriting challenge, and I did a little reel where I was like, maybe I could share that. I don't know. If we could
Yeah,
put that in
yeah.
But yeah, so I'm sitting there like, oh, what am I gonna post? And then I changed to the screen, and it's the songwriting competition, and the song in the background's most wonderful time of the year. And I was like, yay, I have something to post. So just like they're really goofy, really what I would say more informal kind of posts.
Yes.
But a way to like share your personality, share some information in a fun way. And as music therapists, there's that music element. So I feel like this is our time to shine, to really be like, oh, we know how to use music in different ways. We can be clever and share information in a fun format.
Well said. It's so true. And I do feel like reels do kind of have that informal aspect of where it's like a lot of them are funny or silly. And then even the ones that are more informative, like a lot of people, if you've seen them, it'll like someone's kind of pointing to these different areas and like these informational bubbles will pop up that you add in after you're editing different things. And those are really great too, but they are like less formal and really quick and easy to watch. So some people will be like, top 3 responses to a, kid having a hard time in your session. Dooba-da-da, da-dooba-da-da, da-dooba-da-da. Remember, you're okay. Or like there's always like, it's very light, but they're really informative too. I feel like I've learned a lot through watching reels also. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So reels and stories can be confused a lot too, because reels is kind of like a subtype of stories. Stories are there when you have your Instagram open and there's the circles up at the top. If somebody's circle is kind of highlighted, that means they have a story. And you can tap on the first person's story and it will just continue. It will continue to go. Like you could turn it on and set your phone down, and then just the next story will flow into the next story to then the next person's story, and it keeps going. These are a great place to share a lot of different content. You can share, you can do kind of videos of yourself talking to the camera if you have something specific to say. You can share longer things, but usually a minute is where you'll get cut off. And then that's where we'll go into IGTV for some of those longer things. But a great place to like hop on and kind of talk to the camera, talk to your followers, mention something you're really excited about, share a quick little song that you did. So it's a great place to share a lot of things. And not only can you do that, but you can also share somebody else's square or their reels as well. Like if I go to Bonnie and I see Bonnie's awesome songwriting video and I'm like, oh, this is great. You can hit the little, there's a little arrow. It kind of looks like a paper airplane. You can tap that and then you can share it to your stories. So again, I think this goes back to that building relationships of, hey, Bonnie, I loved your content. This is really funny. Queenie's in it. It's really cute. I want to share this. And then so you share it, and then you're sharing somebody else's story in your stories. So it's a great place to do a lot of that relationship building for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And Queenie's my cat, for those who don't know.
She does. She makes a lot of appearances.
Stories. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. And another thing with stories is like, this is kind of where the idea of cross-posting within an app or a social media platform can work, because when you make a post like a square or a video in your feed, I highly recommend sharing that to your story too, because that's going to help catch different people. Some people are going through all the stories, some people are scrolling this way, and because of algorithm they might not see it here, but they might see it in your story, and then if they're interested they'll click and go to the post, or they'll get to see the content in the story. So it's important to think about cross-posting within an app even too.
Yes, that's such a good point, because I think almost every time I post a square, I also share it in my story, because some people really like stories, some people really just like scrolling through the squares. It's such a great point.
Yep, and you'll just catch different people and help build that audience, so that as many people can see it as you want. So.
Yes.
All right, so we'll go into IGTV next, and I find, I don't know if this is true, but for me, this has been one of the buggier Instagram things. But I have tips of how I've gotten around IGTV, because they keep changing, whether there's a button you can go to, or if you scroll. This one's been something they've been playing a lot with on the app. So I feel like it's constantly changing and you're trying to keep up with it. But the idea of IGTV is if you have a video longer than a minute, is that right?
Longer than a minute.
Longer than a minute, then it can't post in your feed, but you can post it on IGTV. And I believe it can be up to an hour or two even. I'd have to look at the max. But you can put very long videos, kind of YouTube-like, on Instagram. And so what I do with IGTV is anytime I make a YouTube video, I will upload it to Instagram on IGTV. Because I was finding if I just made a post that was like, go check out this video on YouTube, it was hard to get people to go from Instagram to YouTube. Yes. So instead, I decided, and I didn't care as much about YouTube views as much as I cared about just more views, more people seeing it. And so to do that, you can post directly to Instagram, and then that video is there. So if somebody's scrolling, they can see it's IGTV, and they can click it and watch it in the same app.
Awesome. That's such a good.
What I do.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Either way, I was gonna say what I do is I cannot get videos very easily on my phone uploaded to IGTV for whatever reason. So I go to the browser version of Instagram, which is not super friendly because you can't make the normal feed posts on the browser version of Instagram. But if you go to IGTV, you can upload IGTV on the browser version of Instagram. And I've had more luck there.
Yeah.
I've had more luck there because I've had trouble with uploading where on my phone it just wouldn't finish it for whatever reason. And that could just be my phone, but there's an option to also upload in the browser version of Instagram. And then you could save drafts in there too. So I just found that a little more user friendly for me, at least, to get the large videos uploaded.
Good to know. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket too, because that will probably happen to me at some point where it won't won't upload.
I just can't get it
Yeah.
on my phone. I don't know.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's so helpful to know. I love that. And then I think our last one is live, which is something you can do actually on Facebook as well as Instagram. But I've only used it a handful of times, but from my understanding, going live is kind of when you want a lot of people to know you're going live so that people kind of like show up because people can watch you when they're going live and, you know, send you a question right in the moment. So this is really helpful if you're maybe launching a course, if you're about to announce something that people are really interested in. Sometimes you can go live if like you have like, I'm thinking with like if I was inviting a guest that had been on my podcast of like, hey, come on my feed and let's go live and talk more about, you know, creative arts therapy. It's definitely somewhere again where you're really focusing on building relationship. So you want people to know that you're going live so you can see, hey, going live at this time, or but then your live videos also will stay in your feed. Like they'll save in your feed. I think they go to IGTV after that. Like your live videos stay in your
Yeah, I think so.
IGTV. Yeah, so they're still saved, so you can still send them to people. People still have access to them. But they are a really great way to connect with people. And I found connecting with people who I normally might not have connected with or have seen come up on my algorithm. It's a really great way. Again, you're finding what people like. Some people really like the Instagram lives. So a great way to connect with people for sure.
Yeah, and I think Instagram makes it easy where you can go live with somebody else too on the platform.
Yes.
And that's been cool to
Yeah.
see people like interact in that way too. So, and then we haven't touched much on like insights and stuff, but I think the live would be a great one where you go to your insights and see like when people are online more, because then you could plan a live around that time if you're trying to catch more people too.
Definitely. Yes, absolutely.
All right, so that was Instagram, and I think a main thing to remember with Instagram is it's very visual. So if you're wanting to share very visual content, Instagram is a perfect place to share that visual content. And in my experience, I've connected probably with more music therapists than clients as a music therapy business owner, but that's been so enriching in creating that networking on Instagram. So just something to keep in mind, your target audience might be on Instagram, or maybe, you know, or the hashtags that you use can help find that target audience, but it also might be more of a networking platform, and that's okay too. And just keeping that in mind as you're choosing and using the different platforms, like who am I connecting with? Is it music therapists? Cool. Like, because there's a lot of good relationships that can be built out of that too.